Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about the latest studio album from Tallah entitled The Generation of Danger. For just over a decade now, I have been told by metal outlets, websites, blogs, people, personalities, figures, and such that a full-blown nu metal revival was imminent. As far back as 2012, you can find articles from Loudwire and Metal Hammer talking about this imminent nu metal revival. You know, nu metal's coming back and it's all thanks to X Band and Y album and so on and so forth. I've argued with people on Discord over the power of nu metal in this modern age of rock music. I've argued with other metal YouTubers, and I've just had countless people telling me, you know, you're a hater. Nu metal's great. It's back. It's awesome. It's here to stay. Quite frankly, I've never been convinced that a nu metal revival could even be possible, let alone that one was imminent. That is until I heard The Generation of Danger, Tallah's sophomore studio album. Now, these angry boys from Pennsylvania haven't been kicking around for too long, having only just dropped their debut album back in 2020, but that debut album, Matrifigi, was kind of a hit. It was kind of a bop. It kind of did pretty well. I mean, personally, I thought it was a little bit overhyped, but there was definitely an energy to it that I thought was really interesting and invigorating, and it's very easy to see why people would really enjoy that album. I remember talking about this album in an Albums I Missed video in 2020. I can't remember which one. But I do remember that Tallah reached out to me afterwards and they were kind of like, we're disappointed that you didn't love the album. You didn't get as much out of it as everyone else got out of it. But like, thanks for your insight. Thanks for your constructive criticism. Have a great day. And I thought that was really classy for like a young band to just, you know, take it on the chin like that. You don't always see that, quite frankly. Ugh, cough, cough, Dungeon Wolf, Psycho Sinner. Anyways, since then, I've paid pretty close attention to them and was even reasonably hyped for The Generation of Danger. And now that this thing is finally out and in all of our hands, I feel comfortable saying that this is probably one of the more interesting things I've heard coming from the realms of nu metal in a long time. Like, these guys are honest, brutal, weird, they wear their heart on their sleeves. A lot of what they're doing you can trace back to Korn, Slipknot. There are a lot of weird, erratic, demented vocal displays with like screaming and whispering and some surprisingly rapid-fire rap rock, rap metal bars here and there. A lot of like angular, punishing riffs and sound effects and like some really gnarly, heavy-hitting percussion, courtesy of Max Portnoy. Yes, before somebody says it, he is the son of one Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater fame. As much as these guys are honoring nu metal's past, they're also consistently, just as often, looking towards the potential future of nu metal as well, bringing in new influences from metalcore and hardcore, namely bands like Knocked Loose and Code Orange. You can even pick up some deathcore influence here and there. I'm reminded a lot of the Black Crown era Suicide Silence at times on this thing, which coincidentally also had a bit of a nu metal coat of paint to it. The opening double whammy of Mudcastle and The Hard Reset, for instance, starts off this album with a flurry of angry, noisy, static, and like arrogance and stupidity. Everything is just caked in mud and sweat, and it's super edgy and super dark and super brutal. There are turntables flying in and out of the forefront of the sound, a lot of like tinny, almost kind of brutal death metal percussion. This reminds me a lot of like very, very, very early Slipknot. Then there's the appropriately titled Stomping Grounds, which just kind of stomps everywhere. I mean, there are a ton of like muscular, meaty, bulky, hardcore beatdowns and like these giant fucking riffs. The Knocked Loose and the Code Orange, like the hardcore and the metalcore influence, is pretty obvious on this one. It's pummeling, it's brutal. If there is a real-life stomping grounds area somewhere in this world, I feel like I'm in it when I listen to this fucking song. The Code Orange vibes remain pretty strong on Shaken Not Stirred, with these very commanding vocals and these very aggressive rhythms, a lot of like really dense production, like with a lot of shit going on. I really like the chorus here, though. I never noticed that these clean vocals, it kind of sounds like Chester Bennington trying to emulate Corey Taylor. Like, it's a very nice, pleasant hook, and he has a lot of power, but, like, there's a lot of, like, grit and dirt there as well. Then there's Of Nothing, which is without question one of the craziest things on the record, in my opinion. I mean, this whole thing is fucking nuts. But I mean, we reach the point where it really just sounds like somebody having like a nightmarish seizure in an insane asylum. Like some poor dumb motherfucker in Arkham Asylum got a whiff of fucking a Scarecrow's spooky gas or whatever the fuck, and now he's tripping hard. Some of the most brutal drum and vocal and guitar work on this thing on the record. It's just bonkers and heavy and nuts. Similarly, the track How Long kind of sounds like somebody coming down from some kind of horrible fucking trip and kind of realizing the extent to which they are severely fucked up. There are a lot of silent moments here, a lot of blank, empty spaces with, like, whispered vocals and some very, like, crazed, manic rapping, and it also has this very bold and weirdly kind of evocative chorus that feels more befitting of modern Deftones. It's just extremely consistent from start to finish, extremely well done. There's no filler to speak of whatsoever, in my opinion, though I would argue there is a little bit of fat. I feel like a lot of the songs go on for just a little bit too long. Like, all of these songs would benefit from being trimmed a little bit. Like, just a little. We're talking maybe 30 seconds a minute tops. I would also say to Justin Bonitz, I love your range, love your power and passion, but holy shit, calm down. Like, there were a lot of times where I was just kind of turned off by how, like, quickly we were changing, like, vocal styles, sometimes in a single verse, in a single little bit of a song. Like, we would just switch between screams and whispers and rapping and all this stuff, and I don't know, at a certain point it just became really hard to follow and just a little bit too much. Honestly, I can't help but feel a little tired, fatigued at a certain point, because the vocals are just so intense and so erratic and so wild, and so is the rest of the album as well. Like, I enjoyed all of what I listened to, don't get me wrong, but I did feel the need to, like, stop and take a breather for a moment. Still, though, warts and all, Generation of Danger is a really good record. Tallah have to be commended for making, without question, the most uncompromising, the most brutal, and the most interesting nu metal record probably since the glory days of the genre. I mean, for God's sakes, Korn and Slipknot released 2 new albums this year, and you could put both of them together, and you still wouldn't have anything as consistently good as the Generation of Danger, in my opinion. I'm feeling a very, 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 very strong 3.5 out of 5, leaning towards a 4 out of 5. Anyone who loves nu metal is bound to love this. You know, like throw on your fucking baggy pants and, you know, get your toque and your chain wallets and go to fucking town. This is the first time I've heard, like, a nu metal band and really thought to myself, damn, a nu metal revival really could be here. Not just because of nostalgia either. Like, it really does feel like this band is bringing something new to the table, even if they are spending a lot of time honoring their heroes and the bands that came before them. I think if they keep going the way they're going, they're basically going to be the new face of nu metal in just a couple of years. Who knows? Maybe they'll be playing Sick New World with fucking System of a Down and all them motherfuckers. Yeah, I actually really liked this record. I'm shocked how much I like this record. 3.5 out of 5, a very, 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 very enthusiastic one at that. Had it been trimmed a little more, had it not been so fucking crazy, I think I would go with a 4, but hey, nobody should complain with a 3.5 out of 5. That's a good score. It literally says good. So, yeah, whatevs. Check it out. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.